So for this video, we are going to go through how to set up a MLS email drip for a client. So when you have a buyer that's looking and they want to start receiving daily updates of the properties, or you can set it up to however they can receive it ASAP or maybe once a week. But this is just kind of how you go through that process. Now, depending on your situation, you may set this up just by talking to the buyer on the phone or taking notes and then doing this at home, especially in the beginning when you're still navigating. But the more you do it, the more familiar you become. Sometimes it's easier just while you're at the first time buyer's consult to do it together and to go through some of these features. So you would go to quick search and then so when you see this where it says however many listings found, if you say view map, it's going to show all the green little dots. So until we narrow down our area, let's just close that. You want it to only be active properties. Ask them if they're interested in any different types of condos or whatever they want. Let's say these people just want single family. I'm going to close that. So for the area, you could ask them. They may know, hey, I only want these zip codes. I've done my research. I want this area. A lot of times, if you can pull this up with them, they may be able to help you just draw the area that they want. So they can say, maybe I only want St. Matthews, or I only want to be, east of 64. So let's say these people want to be kind of east of 64 but inside 265. So let's kind of give them this area here. So you can just click on the polygon at the bottom right and then draw the area and then double click to set that. So I just kind of set that only that area, and look, see, I've already got 275 results there. And so these features down here are really nice. So then it's got the shape of what I want. So now I don't really have to go through those. So of course the listing price is important. Most of the time I don't do a min, but let's say their max was going to be $250,000. They had to have 3 bedrooms. They had to have 2 full baths. So you've got to ask them all of those questions, see, and sometimes this is good to do in front of them because you're saying, okay, look, now we've only got, 28. If you would be interested in a 1 bath, we would have double the options in your price range, but, you need to just ask them what is a have to have and what is an extra. Most of the time when I'm setting people up on a drip, I don't go through the square footage just because every house feels different. They may say that they have to have a basement, or the best advice you can give them is that the less parameters they put on themselves, the better, just because you want a bigger net of fish to look at, right? Like, they may say, oh, I would have never wanted a house without a basement, but then they find everything that's perfect about it. And especially for first-time home buyers, a lot of times they may want this and this and this, but the longer they look, if every single little thing that they would like isn't in their price range, they may decide to change a little bit of their strategy. So it's just a process. Always remind people when you're doing this that you can change this. This is very easy for you to go in and edit. So if price or requirements change, that's okay. So let's say we've got it how we want it. I'm going to go up here to save search. And you're going to, most of the time, save it as their name. So I'm going to say test subscription. And then if you don't have them in there now, you would want to add them as a contact. You can create them as a portal just so that they can use kind of the MLS in there. So I would put their name. It may force me to do this. And then you want to save and add subscription. So at this point, you will receive the subscription the contact will, and you get an email when they have clicked on the link. So sometimes this is good if you're wanting to make sure that they're seeing it, or let's say you have a potential buyer who says that they're a year off from buying, and you notice that they've been clicking on the links more that you've been sending them. It might be just a good reminder for you to reach out and say, if you see anything in the short term, I'm happy to help, and kind of go through that. So you could add more contacts if you need a few more people on there. And then you would want to ask them, do they want to receive the emails as soon as possible, once a week, once a month? And then you can create a general default. I have my subject as Covenant Realty, and you can, right here is how you would make the default if you're doing it for the first time. And you can let them know when you're doing this that they'll receive this same email from you with every single email, so they don't have to reply. Just a tip, I tell my clients that because I get so many emails throughout the day, the best way for me to communicate with them about the properties they like is for them to text me the address, because if they reply to this email, sometimes it gets buried. So, that's the last thing you want, for them to find the house and then email it to you and say, hey, can we set up a showing for tonight? And then you not see that and not reply and then miss out. So I always just say, text me if you see anything you want me to set up a showing for, if you have any questions, just so that things don't get lost in the portal and in the emails. So just something generic, and you can tell them, hey, this is something that'll email you out each time. So I'm going to save, and then it's asking you, because the subscription that you just set up is for all the new houses that pop up on the market ASAP or once a day. So for all of these 28 active listings, most of the time you'll want to email those now so that you can just tell them, hey, I've set up your search. It's going to email you everything that's currently on the market. And I would typically say, here are all the current listings in your search parameter. Let me know if you have any questions. And then I could send them, I can view them if I want to view them, or I can email it. So that is just a little tip there of how I typically do it, but you can do it a few different ways. So that is just kind of how to set up a subscription.